Hey, what's up? This is Gary from Raz Rentals. Back in the early 90s, I was a Ninja Turtle maniac. You know, I had tons of toys, comic books, I played the video games, I even used to draw the Ninja Turtles on everything. And it must have driven my parents nuts that I would watch the 1990 movie all the time. As soon as the credits would finish and the rap music would stop, I'd immediately follow it up with Secret of the Ooze, another Ninja Turtle movie I loved, but, you know, didn't love as much as the first. This, you know, the second movie was goofier and, you know, more for kids than the first movie. But as I said, I still loved it. And I ran around quoting it and acting out my favorite scenes with my friends. And, you know, now that I'm older, you know, now that I'm an old man, you know, I can still quote the movie, but I can't run around acting out the scenes. Are you kidding me? My wife would leave me. So I gotta do the next best thing. Live vicariously through my action figures. Now I can set up my Secret of the Ooze Ninja Turtles to act out my favorite scenes. Now, if you bought the 2-packs or the VHS 4-pack, your options are limited, you know? You only got a few accessories. So luckily, NECA decided to release an accessory set. Great idea. You know, now you'll be able to recreate even more scenes from the movie. You know, back when NECA released this 1990 accessory set, I thought it was a great idea. I think more toy lines should make accessory sets to go with your action figures. And this thing came out a few years after the Ninja Turtle toys came out, right? So I thought it was even a better idea that whenever NECA released their VHS 4-pack, they released the accessory set at the same time. I was really happy about it. My wallet, however, thought it was a terrible idea. The VHS set cost me $150, and this accessory set cost $60. That was $10 more than the original accessory set, plus $14.99 shipping. Altogether, it took around 8 months from pre-order to arrival. The cover of this accessory set shows the awesome poster for Secret of the Ooze. It's edited a little bit, you know. They had to adjust it to fit this box. You know, when I look at this picture, like the silhouettes of Razar and Tokka look even more like Muppets to me. I don't know why. I look at that Razar face and I just see like Muppet, like there should be a hand in there talking. So let's quit wasting time and, you know, get into this thing. On the side, all right. On this side over here, you have a shot of Donnie dressed up like a happy homemaker. And down here, you have a picture of Donnie looking shocked as can be, as no doubt Mikey just revealed that he uploaded that happy homemaker picture to the internet. Oh, for goodness sake, Mikey, don't tell me you sent it to Stephanie. I'm so embarrassed. If we go to the other side, whoa. There's a shot up top of Mikey holding his luggage. And down here, you have Raph all tied up. You know, man, Raph took a beating in the movies. You know, I mean, in the first one, he got his shell kicked. And then in the second one, he got captured. If you look at the back, there is lots of nice pictures of the Ninja Turtles using the accessories included within. Mikey's face here, for some reason, just makes him look so upset. Like, he's so sad. Like, you know, he lost a bet to Raph, and now he has to clean up Raph's apartment or something. All while Raph is laughing at him and teasing him. You have unmutated Tokka and Razar up here. You have Mikey rocking the Keytar over here. I think my favorite shot is this one down here on the bottom left. I think the figures look very natural, you know, especially Mikey. It's like a fully living snapshot of the turtles eating snacks and having a good time. Down here, it lists the contents of the box, which is, you know, always appreciated. We go back to the front here. I said this with my 1990. And this is cool having these two things side by side too. Just seeing these very cool, you know, posters next to each other. Although I will say the 1990 accessory set is very pixely. But the Secret of the Ooze one is nice and sharp and great looking. You know, I did say in that review of the 1990 accessory set that it would have been cool if there was like something here, like a flap that you could open up so you could actually see the accessories inside. But the only way you're going to see the accessories inside is if you take them out, which I will do in a second. But first, I want to mention on the bottom here, it lists the fine, good people at NECA who made this happen, you know. Direction and development, Randy Falk, Trevor Zammit, sculpting and fabrication, Jason Fraley, Paul Harding, Brody Perkins, Trevor Zammit, paint, Jeff Trapp, Mike Puzo, prototypes, TrueCast Studios, Roger Fernandez, photography, Stephen Mazurik, packaging, Chris Ramo. All right. Thank you, everybody. All right, so let's take a look at the accessories before I pull them out of the plastic tray. Now that is a lot of cool stuff. One of my favorite things about the 1990 accessory set was just the extra heads you get, you know? So this is... Whoa. This is great too, you know, you're getting all these nice extra heads because the likenesses on these are, you know, these are fantastic too. They look just like the Secret of the Ooze turtles, much like the 1990 NECA turtles look just like, you know, the 1990 movie turtles. They've done a great job. You know, never in my wildest dreams as a child did I ever think we would ever get photorealistic accessories for photorealistic Ninja Turtle toys. It's crazy. I'll be interested in seeing if these stickers, these same ones are all on Mikey's luggage too. So, you know, I'm going to pull these out and do a bunch of research. You won't know, though, because I'll be talking about everything in a second. But first, we're going to talk about the extra Ninja Turtle heads. For me, one of the biggest selling points of the 1990 accessory set was the alternate Ninja Turtle heads. So, you know, I'm super happy that NECA decided to include a set of alternate heads in this Secret of the Ooze accessory pack. I think all of these look fantastic. And in my opinion, some of them look better than the, you know, the VHS 4-pack standard heads. I know there's at least one of them that I'm definitely going to switch out and leave as my standard Ninja Turtle head. I think the paint on all of these just looks fantastic. You know, like the dry brushing of the skin tone. All the spots look nice and clean. Even around the masks it looks good. The only spot that's weird for me is one of Leo's eyes is a little wonky. And I'll show a close-up of that later, but, you know. My only complaints about these heads, and it's also something that somebody had pointed out in my my review of the my VHS 4-pack, is that they don't come with alternate bandanas. The bandanas here are the same exact bandanas that were included on the 4-pack Ninja Turtles. You know, at least with the 1990 accessory pack, they give you a few different bandanas. So, just like my VHS review, we'll take a close look at each of these heads, and I'll show them as close as I can to stills from the movie. First up is Donatello, and I actually think that this is a perfect speaking head for Donnie, because if you watch the Ninja Turtles in the movie, you know, as they talk, one thing you'll notice is sometimes there's this, like, extreme dip in the center of their bottom lip. You know, it just kind of creates this unusual V shape, you know, very exaggerated. You know, most notably, it even made the cover of Secret of the Ooze. I mean, look at Raphael's mouth there. He's making that shape, right? This action figure, in my opinion, like perfectly captures that. And it's just very clean and very well done, you know, very sharp. The paint on the eyes and everything like that is nice and clean. The texture looks good. Even like how the tongue is, it looks like it's glossy to try to make it look like a real tongue. It looks fantastic. And, you know, because of Donatello's happy-shaped eyebrows here, you know, it kind of gives him that, like, bulging eye look that Donatello has in Secret of the Ooze. Now, I've been very critical of that because I think it's kind of goofy looking, but the best thing NECA can do to make this action figure as accurate as possible is to give him that kind of bulgy-eyed look. And the standard head doesn't have that, you know? And that Donatello, he looks maybe a little more stern or something. I think that this expression perfectly captures, like, I don't know, the more zany, more kind of goofy Donatello in Secret of the Ooze. So for me, I'm gonna I will probably always display this Donatello with this extra accessory set head. It just looks great, you know. And let's see here. Here you can see Donatello making this expression in the movie, and now here you can see the action figure. Up next is Leonardo, and man, that is fantastic looking. Like, that is just a spectacular looking Leonardo head. Like, that's great. Like, all the spots, the just the proportions and shape of the face look perfect. I feel like even personality-wise, it really captures Leonardo in that film. Like, you know, that one, he's kind of like cheery and smiling. I feel like Leonardo is somewhat more serious usually, you know, and I just think that looks great. Even though it's a closed mouth face, it just really does the job, you know, of you know, capturing Leonardo's likeness in that film. Just like with Donatello, most of the paint is done pretty well on this guy. You know, it's clean around the eye bandana and everything, but unfortunately, my one eyeball is kind of stuck looking up a little bit. I don't always notice it, but when I notice it, it's just, you know, it's something that bugs you. Me personally, I will probably always display this Leonardo with this extra accessory pack head. It just looks, it looks great, you know. And here's a shot of Leonardo in the film with his mouth closed. And here is the action figure. And here is another one where hopefully you can get an idea of just the proportions of the head. And I don't know, just how all that was sculpted. And then you look at the action figure and you can see that, you know, NECA did a fantastic job of, you know, emulating what they saw in the film. Here's Mikey's head. And, you know, I think this looks really good too, you know. It kind of gives Mikey a more serious look, but there are a lot of scenes in the movie where he just kind of has his mouth closed. I don't know, maybe they could have made him smile a little bit. It's fine. The spots and everything look good. The paint looks good on this thing. I don't know. It's a nice head, and I like, for my 1990 Michelangelo, I decided to go with the accessories pack closed mouth head, just because the eyes were a little weird. But even though this VHS pack eyes are kind of always looking upward, I still love that expression a lot more on Mikey's face. You know, this is good. I think it does what it does, and it does a good job of doing that. But that with the open mouth, I don't know. You look at that and you're just like, man, that's totally zany Michelangelo. So for me, if I had to pick one, you know, that I'll display him with, you know, as my standard head, I would always go with this one here. But here's a shot of Michelangelo with his mouth closed for a change, that big mouth. And here is the action figure. And here is another shot of Michelangelo in the movie. And again, here is the action figure. And last, we have Raph. Now, you know, just right off the bat, I just want to say this. You know, I think that this is a well-done head. You know, I think it's executed well. But, man, I think that face looks a lot nicer than this one. Like, this is good. It kind of looks like Raph as he's smiling in the movies. But this one also looks a little crazed. Yeah, like he looks a little whacked out of his mind. I will say this, though. I kind of feel like the shape of this Raphael head looks more like Raph's head in the film. There are certain things here, like how the face sort of dips underneath the eyes, and just the proportions of the beak to the rest of the body, or I'm sorry, to the rest of the face, that I think this captures. You know, I think that this does it better. But this one, I don't know. I just think that's a better expression for Raph. But, you know, this will be good if you ever want to have a Raphael, like, you know, play pizza catch or something like that on your shelf. I don't know. He just looks crazy. And they didn't paint his tongue or anything in there, so it's just completely white behind his teeth. I don't know, like I said, a well-executed head, but I don't know, for me, the expression will be that one. And, you know, Raph got the special treatment here because they decided to include this taped up mouth Raphael had. If you ever want to tie him up and have him be the damsel in distress. This head looks pretty cool, you know. I think it looks good. I think it's actually the same expression as the standard Raphael head. It just has that piece of tape over the mouth. So here is Raphael smiling in the film. And here is the action figure. So let's move over to the cleaning supplies. And first we're going to take a look at the aprons. Just like the movie, Don's is more of a skirt. And Michelangelo's goes up higher, you know, and it has the neck strap. This is just kind of funny to me because you look at the two of these guys next to each other and you're like, you know, this is like one of those family portraits, you know, where the mom makes them like dress up in like matching uniforms or something. And, you know, he is just not having it at all. You're like, he does not like it. And then Donatello here, you're like, he's clearly into it. He's like, man, I love this cool uniform, Mom. So, you know, these are nice. They're made out of a cloth. And you can just tie them around the back. It can be a little tricky getting the bow, but, you know, it still fits around them really well. And I haven't had too much problems getting it on them. So if you take a close look at Donatello's apron, you know, this is nice. The pattern is very nice. I like the nice little trim, you know, and you sort of have like this checkered design. In the movie, it kind of resembles that, but it's very, very different, you know. The colors are different and just a lot of the shapes are different. So, you know, this looks good, but it's not like 100% movie accurate. I mean, most likely you probably won't even care, right? Because you're just like, all right, Donatello's got his apron, and you know, that's all he needs. Again, with Michelangelo, you pretty much kind of have the same thing, right? Like Mikey's pattern is probably closer to Michelangelo in the movie, but again, it's very different, you know? It's missing some colors, and the shapes are just, you know, different. But I think it's a worthy effort, you know? I still think it looks good. It's still nice. You know exactly what it's supposed to be doing, and most likely you haven't been, like, you know, staring at the movie all these years, been like, man, I can't wait to see, I really want them to make a Michelangelo someday and have that pattern on it, you know? So, you know, this is good enough. Maybe they couldn't get the rights to these apron patterns. Maybe they're copyrighted. Who knows? So here is Donnie's bow staff mop, or as I like to think of it, Donnie's girlfriend. You know, I've probably done a ton of gross stuff in my lifetime, but even I would never kiss a mop. Now, NECA made the one side of this mop flat here, so you can try to make it look like Donatello is cleaning or dusting your shelf. In the film, you can see that, you know, of course, he's got the mop on both sides of his bow. But, man, he keeps on spinning that thing around, so it's kind of hard to take a clear screenshot of that in the movie. It can be a little tricky getting Donatello in a two-handed mopping pose, but it can be done, you know. It's kind of hard to get the bottom of this mop completely flat on the table, and plus because the he only has horizontal hinges, it's just a little difficult to, I don't know, get everything in the right place. But you can mess around with it. You're going to have to squat him down a little bit to get him to reach the ground. But, you know, it can be done. Next up is Mikey's dual brushes. The deadly dual brushes of death, as I like to think of them. These are cool because not only did NECA give you both colors, you know, you get the yellow or whitish one, and you get the blue one, but also they paid close attention to the shapes in the film, right? In the movie, the yellow brush handle is flat, while the blue brush handle is curved. See that? Now, I wouldn't have ever really paid attention to that, so it's nice to see that NECA went above and beyond. And as you can see here, you know, these look perfectly fine. You know, they look cool. Let's see if Mikey can hold them all right. Now, it can actually be pretty tricky getting him to hold these. Like, you have this one gripping hand that is, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's bigger, but it's, like, I would use it for, like, pizza and stuff like that. Like, that holds that brush just fine. But the regular gripping hand that you use for, like, his weapons, it's very, very tight. So it's very difficult to get that blue brush in there. I feel like, you know, if I keep on pushing that in there, you know, further and further, it's going to stretch the hand out, and then he won't be able to hold his nunchucks anymore. Not that Michelangelo in Secret of the Ooze ever holds his nunchucks, but I don't want him to drop the cold cuts either. So now let's move over to the food. And first, we're going to talk about the chips. All right, so NECA included 2 bags of chips here, and that, of course, is from whenever Donatello was talking to April on the phone in the Ninja Turtles' brand new sewer lair. You know, as they're moving in, Mikey's carrying the good stuff while it looks like Leonardo's doing all the hard work. These bags look fantastic. You know, I think they look good. They look like, you know, like they are filled with air and chips. You know those chips only fill like a quarter of the bag though, right? So when I looked at this, you know, I looked at the logo here and I was like, wow, that's weird. Why is it all like, you know, kind of messed up like that? You know, maybe NECA had to do that in order to avoid any kind of licensing problem or whatever. But no, if you look at the bags in the movie, it almost appears as though they, like there was a logo there that they were like trying to remove, but they didn't completely remove it. I can't tell if these are just generic chips or if they actually are a bag of chips from back in the day, because I can't remember this design, you know, maybe it's hers or something like that. I don't know. But, you know, like I said, these look cool. Some of the pictures look a little different than how they appear in the film, but it's fine. I don't care. And if you look at, like, the logo right there, and then you look at it in the movie, you can see that they, you know, copied that exactly. The blue bag has a little bit of a different shape going on there, but, you know, here on the action figure, they just, you know, they just used it for both of them, which is fine. As usual, NECA did a good job, because even if you turn the blue one to the back, these stupid things keep falling over. You can see, like, you know, all the information here and the same shapes and the same UPC that you see in the movie, okay? Now, we have gotten bags of chips and stuff like that in the past in this line. We got some pork rinds with the 1990 Turtles. This was kind of cool, too, because it was actually open and it actually had chips inside, but these are completely sealed, which is in line with the movie. My only problem I have with these is it is very difficult to get, like, the Ninja Turtles to hold them. Like, this hand right here is like the pizza eating hand, so it kind of has like a longer, more open grip. But these kind of slide right out of there, you know, not too good. Sometimes you can kind of get it in the right spot. Yeah, see, it just doesn't, I can't get a good grip. And then, like, the regular gripping hand for the Ninja Turtles, that's even worse. Like, because it's so tight, you can't, like, you can't even move the bag of chip into that grip. So, unfortunately, I haven't been able to get my my Ninja Turtle to actually hold either of these bags. So here's Michelangelo's generic chocolate bar. This is pretty nice. You know, the chocolate has a nice texture on it, and the you know, the wrapping is nice and smooth. Even in the movie, the chocolate bar was generic. It wasn't like a real candy bar or anything like that. And I was looking at these pictures and wondering, like, what kind of candy bar is that? Is that like a Twix? Is it a Snickers bar? The only thing I know is that it makes a loud crunching sound when you bite into it. And, you know, as a kid, I loved acting like a jerk. And I used to pretend that I was crunching something really loud in my buddy's ear. And they'd be like, hey, jerk, don't do that. But it was like, you know, don't get mad at me. Get mad at Michelangelo, because he was the guy who taught me that sometimes you gotta stick it to the squares, right? Raphael was a square, and he needed to lighten up, and so do you, pal. So, as I said, this the toy version looks really nice. It doesn't have as much of a taper down here, but it's, you know, it's fine, you know. And it fits into his normal gripping hand just fine. Included here were 2 cups. The red one here goes to Mikey. Mikey drinks out of that red cup with a straw while they're watching April's newscast. And the blue one right here That goes to Leonardo, and he was drinking out of that cup whenever the Ninja Turtles were telling Kino their origin. In the movie, Donatello also uses a red cup, but he doesn't have a straw. These look good, you know. There's nothing too special about them. Even in the movie, they're just, you know, normal, generic cups. I mean, they can hold these just fine, but you won't be able to get a close enough reach to actually make it look like they're drinking out of the cup. That joint just does not want to go up close enough. Plus the hand, the way the hand is angled, it's angled forward, so that, like, if you were trying to, like that's sort of like if you had the arm, like, completely flat, you know? It's not like the cup is, like, facing upward. Next up, you have a bowl of popcorn. Donatello eats popcorn while the Turtles are watching April on TV. This accessory looks pretty nice. You know, I like the metallic silver. Looks shiny. You can use one of these flat hands to hold the bowl in place, and use one of these Raphael stabbing hands to make it look like Donatello is reaching in to grab a handful of popcorn. So that's pretty nice. It fits in there pretty nice, and even the detail of the popcorn is really good. Like, there's the popcorn is white, but then there's like some yellow highlights there to make it look nice and buttery. And last up for food is a pizza box with 4 pieces of pizza. This pizza box is the same pizza that was included with the VHS 4-pack. It has this cool, I don't know, illustration of this pizza chef tossing a pizza pie in the air. That actually comes from the movie. You can see it here. And if you don't remember, Kino worked at Roy's Pizza. Although this box doesn't say Roy anywhere, even in the movie. The 4 pieces of pizza, come on, open up. This is just the same pizza that's been included with the Ninja Turtles since the 1990 action figures, you know. It doesn't even look like the Secret of the Ooze pizza. It needs more cheese. Alright, so now we're going to move on to accessories that, they're mostly Donatello accessories, alright? They're stuff that he mostly interacted with more so than any of the other Turtles. And first up, we're going to talk about the Tgri computer. Now, this computer is very nice, and what's also really nice is if you can use the like the Raphael pointing psi stab hands, and use those as like keyboard typing hands for Donatello. Let's move him out of the way. So this looks really good, you know. It looks very similar to the film, although there are some differences. Like this little shape down here, this like on switch, you know, that's not like dark in the movie or anything like that. The screen is kind of curved, so that looks good. The screen here is actually just a sticker, and it just says, you know, disposed, active. The like the details of the actual computer itself here look really good. There's just slight differences in the movie, but I think that just the overall appearance of this thing is just really nice. Like the disk drives look nice, even these little switches and holes down here, that all looks good. Even the keyboard here looks nice, and it's painted really well. Like, even if you don't, like, you could use this with, like, any realistic toy line, and I think it would look really good, you know? I feel like you could change the sticker, and it could fit whatever needs you want it to be. Even in the back here, like, it's really nice looking, you know? You have, like, sort of all these ridges up here. And then, like, the detail in the actual back itself is really nice. Because you can see, you have like plugs here where you could actually add like wires and whatnot. Like here you have, I think that's supposed to be like the power supply. It would come out of there. I think you could add like a wire here to attach it to the monitor, and then have like one coming off as the power supply, and it would really look really nice. This is a very cool accessory. I think you know, I think you could fit it anywhere in your like display, and it would look cool. Up next is the payphone, and you know, Donnie mostly hugs this thing, so it's kind of hard to see in the movie like the finer details. But I think NECA did a great job of, you know, filling in what you might not see in the film. And, you know, much like the computer, I feel like this is a perfect accessory because you can use it with more than just the Ninja Turtles. And, you know, the like the wear on the side all looks good. Just the details of where you get the change, and, you know, you got the coin slot here, and then to try to get your money back, you can pull on that lever, and, you know, that's that's all good. And on the back here, there's a lot of like nice little holes and stuff like that, but there's also this big hole here, so you can actually like hang it on a screw or something like that in your display, which is, you know, cool. But as I said, Donatello holds this thing with his hands. I'll be honest, it can be a little tricky getting Donatello to hold both of these, just because the way that the length of the arm and the limitations of the joint here, it's kind of hard to get the phone completely up to his ear. Let's be honest, what ear? These Ninja Turtles don't have any ear holes, but you know, that's about as close as I could get this thing without it moving forward. But still a very, very cool design, you know, pretty nice. Man, it really takes you back, you know? Back before cell phones, back when, you know, if you wanted your parents to come pick you up, you'd call them collect, and when the machine said, state your name, you'd say, pick me up, Mom! Alright, so moving on. Mikey's Accessories. And first up is the Keytar. You know, this is great, you know? It's like Keytar has had that little heyday back in the 80s or early 90s, and then they just kind of fell into obscurity. Like nobody's running around with a Keytar trying to act like they're cool. It wasn't even cool back then. It was just kind of a weird little instrument. But this, you know, fits on him really nice. His hands reach. I mean, look at that. That's like a perfect fit, right? You know, the detail on this Keytar is just like wonderful. And I think NECA really went the extra mile with this. Like, if you look at the buttons here, and then you look at the buttons in the film, they are exactly the same, you know, like they copied that verbatim, which is great, you know. The details on the strap are really nice, you know, that's good. They obviously didn't paint the ring silver or anything like that, but I don't know, it doesn't really bother me. And what I think is very impressive is just like the back of the Keytar, because you look at that and you're like, wow, like they sculpted all the little divots, you know, for the screws. They have the legs here, and what's coolest of all is they even have like the battery door, you know. I feel like a lot of companies would have just you know, went half-assed on this thing and just made this whole bottom just completely smooth, but you know, NECA really did a cool job of filling in all these details to really make this thing look realistic. So up next is Mikey's Fedora, and of course, you know, in the movie, this is he wore this whenever he was impersonating Humphrey Bogart, which is cool because even if you know, it's like every kid, there was always those movie lines that you could quote. Like even if you didn't see that movie as a kid, you always knew that line. And just to see like the Ninja Turtles also quoting movie lines, it was just kind of fun to see back then. So the detail on this is really nice. I like the stitching around the brim. That looks good. You have the strap around the head section here. The only thing I wish that NECA could like not do is have these holes for where the like the eye bandana knot would go. Like I wish they could not include that. Like just take off the eye bandana or something, or I don't know, because it just looks kind of goofy having that sticking out the top there like that. The undercover or disguised Raphael had the same problem with his fedora. But you know, this fits on his head nice. It's pretty big compared to his head, but even in the movie it was pretty big. Alright, so up next is Mikey's suitcase, and here's where I'm going to get some Ninja Turtle cred, and then lose some of it because I don't know all of these stickers, but I know a bunch of them. Did you know a lot of these stickers on this thing are actually places from the Fred Wolf series? So if you were wondering what the hell Papa Lua was, it comes from the Fred Wolf series, and I'm going to try to go over every sticker and let you know which ones I don't know, unfortunately. But the details on this thing look really nice, you know. All the stitching looks fine, and the nice trim work, you know. The golden locks are good. The handle actually moves around, which is cool. You can open this thing up, and inside there's some nice paints to give it the inside some texture, and even these straps just look really nice. You know, they're molded there, so you can't like actually put some clothes in here and have the straps go around them, but it's just really nicely done. You know, this is a very like real world suitcase in my opinion. I like this a lot. All right, so let's go over these stickers. Now these stickers are very small, and it's actually a little difficult to read some of them, but I tried to zoom in on my phone to read the ones that I couldn't actually see with my own old man eyes. All right, so the top left here, it says Hotel Malacuria Restaurant. All right, Malacuria is from the episode April's Fool. That episode mostly took place in the Malacuria Embassy in New York. All right, right here, this Papalua, that comes from the episode Raphael versus the Volcano. Papalua is a island that has a volcano. All right. Down here, this Okefenokee Swamp, I think that's how you pronounce it. That's where the punk frogs live. That's mentioned in Invasion of the Punk Frogs. Whenever Krang, he accidentally sent the mutagen to there instead of sending it to Shredder, and then he has to tell the Shredder that that's where the mutagen is. All right. Down here, this what the hell is that? Osagawaga Island, right? If you look there, there's actually a picture of a lotus, and that comes from the episode Farewell Lotus Blossom. In that episode, you have that giant samurai ghost, Chakahachi. Well, he's trying to find the pearl of Osagawaga Island. All right, so if you come to the back here, this first one right here, this it says Parmis. I couldn't make out what the rest of that word is, and I couldn't figure out what exactly that logo was supposed to be. I don't remember. So if you know what that is, please let me know, and I will try to pin your comment to the top. For this one right here, this Japan sticker, that's actually Gorgonzola. He appeared in a few episodes, but the big one for him is Bebop and Rocksteady Conquer the Universe. That one featured Zack the Fifth Turtle. Down here, this is a second one that I couldn't figure it out, right? It says Harfton Gulch, and that down at the bottom there looks like Kentucky. What the hell is Harfton Gulch? I tried Googling it, but I couldn't find anything that related to the Ninja Turtles at all. Now down here at the bottom, it says Greasy Eddie's Italian Pizzeria, right? And there's actually a picture of Pizza Face's face right there, which is cool because NECA hasn't done anything with Pizza Face, so it's just kind of neat to see him there. But Greasy Eddie's was actually in the episode Plan 6 from Outer Space. That's how the Ninja Turtles won their tickets to go on their European vacation, all right? They actually won it from Greasy Eddie's European pizza. Over here it says, greetings from the Maroon Lagoon. Now that's actually just a nice little joke inside the episode Invasion of the Punk Frogs, right? You have the little kid, he's playing around with the frogs, and his mom is like upset, you know, because she's not happy in being in Florida. And the kid's like, they're only frogs. They're not the creatures from the Maroon Lagoon. This is the third one I couldn't figure out. This Dumaine. And then down here it says, it looks like it's supposed to say travel company. And there's a picture of a yacht there. What is that? I don't remember. Is that from the... It's like you start to think of all the times there was like a yacht or something in the show, like the Mona Lisa episode. But like I said, I couldn't put anything down. And then the bottom right, the final picture right here is a picture of the Maltese hamster. And below him it says Malta. And that, of course, came from the episode The Maltese Hamster, which I've talked about way too much. The Maltese hamster always gives me a laugh because I remember Peter Laird saying at some point just how absurd that whole episode was. Like, that the villains created a machine that could that like magnetized antiques and brought them to them because they were trying to get the Maltese hamster just to like arrive at their door. Silly stuff, but still entertaining when you were a kid, right? So that's all that can be said about this this suitcase. And like I said, if you know what those 3 stickers are, please let me know. All right, so now on to Splinter's Accessories, and first up is the newspaper, which is of course from the end of the film, you know, and this looks perfect. All the text is the same. It all says the same exact stuff. On the back, you know, just generic stuff, you know. But, you know, that's a good picture of the Ninja Turtles. It's actually the same picture from the movie. It's not like an actual picture of the toys or anything like that. And did you ever, like, think the Ninja Turtles look a little weird in that picture. Like, why do they look off? Like, Raph especially, like, his head looks gigantic. Like, is it just like the Flash that's kind of like flattening everything out and making it look strange, or what? But I don't know. So this is a nice newspaper. I could not get it into Splinter's hands. I don't remember if he even came with an extra set of hands. This was the Splinter from the that 4-pack with him, Shredder, and the Foot Soldiers. All right, move on. And last for Splinter, you have his broken Tgri canister. They even sculpted this thing like this crack here that goes from the T through the G to the R. That's exactly how it looks in the film. So, you know, good job, NECA, for picking up on that detail. But this is cool, you know. I like this. I like having all these different types of Tgri canisters. And finally, all that's left is unmutated Tokka and Rahzar. These guys are cool. You know, they got a lot of detail on them. You know, just a lot of sculpted detail, which is fantastic. Like, Rahzar here, you know, he just has all this fur. Like, all these extra little nicks and stuff like that to make it to make him look fluffy. The paint is nice. You know, it's got that sort of, it has a nice natural canine hue, right? With the bright colors on the legs and in the chest area here and stuff. Unfortunately, Rahzar, if you turn him around, like, he's meant to be looked at from, like, viewed from one side, you know, and you're not supposed to really look at him from this side because, look, he has no leg on this side. So you kind of just want to put him up against the wall and have him like this, because you actually have the leg here. And like the bottom of him is like completely flat. So it is what it is with him. At least his head can move around. So that's articulated. Out of the two of them, though, Tokka is my favorite. I think he just looks great. You know, the details on the shell looks nice. The paint, again, is really nice. There's like a wash on him to really like darken those grooves and everything like that on his scaly body, his super wrinkly body. Even the bottom of him, unlike Rahzar, it's just not completely flat. It actually looks rounded and more realistic. The paint is nice. I don't know. He's really cool looking. The head has articulation. You can actually spin that around. And the jaw here is a little articulated, but you can't really get it to completely close. It just moves around a little bit. But still, very cool, very nice Tokka here. So that's it. Yeah. There was a lot of neat things to go over here, and I think the heads alone make this set worth the purchase. You know, I'm definitely going to use the Donatello head and the Leonardo head as my standard Secret of the Ooze heads. And with Raph and Mikey, it's just kind of cool to have the option if I ever want to exchange them. If you asked me, like, what item is missing here that should have been here from the movie, is the yo-yo. Like, Mikey uses the yo-yo to do around the world. That, I think that could have been included here. The only other than that, the only thing I would say is like bells with Kino, but maybe they'll include some bells with the actual Kino action figure. You know, I think that there were cool items like the computer, payphone, and suitcase that even Tokka and Rahzar, you know, that kind of had a nice realistic quality and that you could potentially use with other toy lines or whatever. Even the bags of chips and stuff like that, you can use that not only with the Ninja Turtles, but any of NECA's toy lines, because they, you know, specialize in making these really cool, realistic action figures. You know, I think this set was a lot of fun, but I also kind of feel like maybe the 90 accessory set, like, I don't know, I think maybe that was like my favorite. And I know the 90 movie was my favorite movie, but I don't know, there was just certain things in the 90s accessory set that really made it amazing, but that's just because the 90 movie had more to offer, maybe. Like, you had Mikey with the spinning nunchuck hand. Like, that was amazing. And, you know, of course, the heads in that accessory set were awesome, too. One thing I do want to mention here before the end of this review is just how much fun I had making this review and the VHS 4-pack, because it just gave me this excuse to go watch Secret of the Ooze and like really get into it, you know? Like for years I'd put it on for my kids or sort of pay attention to it while I was drawing or something like that. But here I really sat down and I really stared at it and really paid attention to everything. And I just got hit with like a ton of nostalgia, you know, because there's just so many things I said and did when I was like 7 or 8 because of this movie. You know, like watching it again, I was like, oh, I remember saying that. Oh, I remember doing that. Like here's a funny story. One time, a friend and I were like play fighting in my house, and I kicked him with my one leg, and he grabbed it, you know. And quickly I thought of Kino, you know. I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to show this guy. I'm going to do that cool spin kick that Kino does in the movie, right? It's going to be awesome. Everybody's going to think I'm totally cool because of it, right? Well, you know what happened? I lifted up my other leg to try to kick him, and I tried to spin around, but instead of doing anything, I just sort of did a belly flop off the floor and got the wind knocked out of me. And that was a point where my dad was like, all right, you got to go home, buddy. Gary's... he's got to get ready for bed. And you know what, another cool thing I realized while I was watching this movie this time is that Susie Essman is in this movie. Like, I had no idea that was her. She's one of my favorite characters on Curb Your Enthusiasm. And, you know, I just never would have pictured her playing such an easily agitated woman. Now, like, wouldn't it have been awesome if she really let April have it? Like, really gave it to her? Man. So, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and talk to you later.